After leaving the Paradise Cave, you are placed on this lake area surrounding tool, and you are free to sail around here without risk of endangering the step manipulation. This is a peculiarity of the overworld squares surrounding this area. They will not advance the danger rate, provided you are navigating on a ship. But as soon as you set foot on land, then the danger rate advances normally and you will engage random encounters. But on water, you are safe. Now, on this bottleneck, you get a cutscene where a pilot offers his assistance to help you reach the wind shrine. You can accept or reject. If you accept, you get these assorted animations and then you get taken there automatically. This is a backup if you fear that you're going to dock on a shore, but this is definitely slower. It is faster to get here on your own. Now, like I said, on the overworld the steps advance normally, so overworld will always reference world map steps. That is the fourth row of the danger rate on the top left over there on the pink numbers for the Lua script. So you will notice that on warm-up steps, we are a couple of steps away from engaging a random encounter, so it means that we're going to get sniped right before reaching the wind shrine. There are two ways we can avoid this. We can either pause, or we can do the sneaky way that the step route uses, which is after the Paradise Cave sequence, you take a couple of steps on this corner tile. It's technically 4 steps total, but remember that docking on a ship doesn't advance the danger rate on this portion, so it's not going to count towards the total steps. But you take a couple of steps, now we're 1 step away from an encounter on warm-up steps, and then this cutscene with Pirate refreshes the danger rate for you. So that is a nifty way of loading up a pause in order to dodge that random encounter. But yeah, getting to the wind shrine is not that difficult. It's mostly the end here where the land starts stretching, where you could be accidentally docking on a coast. But let's say that does happen. Oh no, my step route, whatever will I do? I only took 1 step total if I go back into the ship, so that means that I need to correct that with a single half step, and then that will set me 1 tile ahead from what I was, and that's going to set me back properly on the step route. So I want to do 1 half step before reaching the wind shrine, and that's going to be the proper count I want to continue. This time, no random encounters before the dungeon, and we can get started with the wind shrine here. The first floor of this area doesn't advance the danger rate, so you can misstep around here, although you are on walking pace, so I don't really feel like you should be misstepping here to begin with. Anyway, on the second floor, before reaching the side point room, we want to get 6 steps. So I like using this gap here because it has the exact width you want to have that addition to your total step count. And in this room, you get a side point. You always get this cutscene whenever you step on a side point for the first time, so it's unavoidable, you just get it down here. And this room also doesn't advance the danger rate, but every time you are here, you walk in a straight line anyway, so it's not very relevant information to have. Here you go to the left. We want to reach the boss as quickly as we can. And on the third floor here, to my right, you can cross a hidden passage. Even though we don't have the thief passive that allows us to see these hidden corridors, you can still take them if you know where they are located ahead of time. So this one is particularly nifty because it spares you from going all around the room and taking random encounters, so it's definitely a shortcut you want to take. And now you want to enter this room and get yourself a broadsword. You can also misstep here, it's a safe room. And now let's get ready for Wind Raptor. Wind Raptor happens when you step in front of him. There is an event tile that triggers the boss battle. And so as soon as you approach Wind Raptor, then you're gonna get ready. So you want to hold A to have Faris attack, and here is where things get tricky. Everybody is a freelancer, so it means that your entire party may have an erratic turn order. And the reason for this is that because everybody is sharing the same job class, that means that the game is referencing our base stats and our innate bonuses. So your standard turn order for these instances is going to be Faris, Lena, Bartz, and Galuf. But you need to watch out for Galof's turn, because right now he's unarmed, and we are going to equip him with the broadsword we just collected so that he has an adequate offensive presence for the boss. And sometimes Galuf may get ahead of Bards, or Bards may get ahead of Lena. In very rare instances, Galuf channels his inner Sonic and he goes before Lena, which is crazy, but it tends to happen. So after attacking with Ares, you want to let go of the A button and see what happens, so you don't accidentally have a Galuf punch Wind Raptor, which is not going to be enough damage to get the KO before the third round of combat. Yeah, so this time Bards went before Lena, which unfortunately is unpredictable. And also he did not attack before Wind Raptor, which is unfortunate, but also there is not a whole lot you can do about it. Anyway, in order to equip weapons mid-battle, you go take the weapon you want, go to the top of your inventory, and you press up again. And this takes you to your right and left hands. This works similarly for the PSX version. So you can always shuffle your equipable weapons and shields mid-battle. You cannot do anything with your armor though. So this is a nifty way of not having to do a manual menu on the field. And we use this often to break rods on mid-game, but that will come in due time. But equip the broadsword, then press B to go back to your commands and use hold A to win. Yeah, we gotta watch out for Wind Raptor surviving here, because Bards didn't go before Wind Raptor, so it means that if I get low rolls, Faris will be unable to get the KO here. Which didn't happen. Okay. I got lucky there. So even if you don't do everything okay, Wind Raptor can still survive after Faris' third attack. And unfortunately we cannot control damage rolls, so there is not much you can do about it. On Wind Raptor's third action, he will always close his wings, and he is completely invulnerable to damage on that phase, which means that you just have to awkwardly sit it out and until it runs its course. And at that point you may as well reset, because it's a silly time loss. It happens very rarely. But you have already seen 15 minutes of cutscenes, so it may not be something you want to do. Now, that can not happen if Lena decides to go before Wind Raptor on the first round. Sometimes she gets a head start on Wind Raptor, and then you are safe, and she's always going to correct the damage rolls for you. But that is RNG. But here I want to show off the boss battle again, so that you can see how I would normally handle this without all the explanations. Oh yeah, here you also want to wait for Wind Raptor to attack, so that you equip the weapon during the attack animation, just to save a bit of time that way. This time Lena went before Wind Raptor, so that means the kill is guaranteed here, no matter what. Also, after battle you want to hold A so that you get your rewards quickly, and you also grab your battle spoils framed perfectly as well. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah, Wind Raptor is a simple boss, it's just 5. There's just some nuances to it that makes it a little tricky. Now, after the battle, if you walk 3 tiles upwards, right over here, you can step on the event tile that made the boss battle happen. So for this event tile, you want to walk straight on top of it and just keep going. And just watch out for corners, and we can head into the Wind Crystal room. Get our first set of job classes. I'm going to do a quick overview of all our jobs from this crystal, so that you are aware what roles they provide for the speedrun. So let's get started here. First we have knights. We use them for the knight tanking cheese. You know how in Final Fantasy IV Paladin Cecil covers physical damage for people who are on critical health? It works exactly the same for knights, because they have the cover skill innately, so they will always cover for people who are on critical health. Critical is 1/8 of your max HP, and you can tell that happens when your characters are crouching. So that is your tell for critical health. And guards, the guard tanking part of the strat comes from the guard command that knights have innately as their default command. When you use guard, you are totally immune to physical damage, no matter the danger of it. It will always deal 0 damage. So this, in tandem with cover, means that we can chase bosses that only spam physical attacks. And this works as an excellent shield to protect the party while they set up the boss kill on the few rounds where the boss uses spams physical attacks. So we use knights often for that strategy. Monks are wordless. I'm sorry, dude, it's not my fault. Okay, now we have thieves. Thieves are the best support class in the game, bar none. They have the dash passive, which allows you to press the B button on the field and allow you to cross rooms quicker by running, which in and of itself is incredible. But thieves also have the caution skill, which prevents ambushes from happening. You will never ever get back attacked if you have a thief on the party. And down the line, thieves also learn the escape command, which lets you flee from battle immediately as soon as you issue the command. So with all these passives, thieves, we will always want a thief on the party, because the benefits they provide are just very nifty. White mages, we occasionally heal before bosses, just a couple times during the run, but we mostly use this for the life spell. Life works differently than Phoenix Downs in this game, because they revive you the life spell revives you at 1/8 of your max HP. Phoenix Downs revive you at 1/4 of your max HP, and that's not enough for critical health. So the life spell is an easy way of going into critical, so that we can pair that up with the guard tanking strat. So we use white mages for that. And then there is Black Mage. We use fire occasionally, like just to get random damage on enemies that we may need to chip away. And we also use it to kill Carla balls, but we mostly use Black Mages to learn the Black command. Black is one of the few commands that transfers the stats from the class it originates from. So you're going to have the base magic power of a Black Mage when you have the Black command equipped. So this is a nice booster for other job classes that may have formulas that depend on magic power, but they don't have quite as strong magic power. So we can use the Black command to bolster that damage and get through mobs quicker. For example, with scrolls thrown by ninjas, we use the Black command specifically for those. And next up are Blue Mages. Blue Mages are fine. They got robbed on this route. We use them on early game specifically for beating up a Siren and Galura through the Goblin Punch Blue Magic. So they are still very handy for early game, but they die there because we don't learn more Blue Magic spells. We skip level 5 Doom, we don't get White Wind or Mighty Guard for a support tech. That just doesn't matter for the speedrun, so they sit tight. They become a warm bencher in due time. And there we go, Freelancers. Freelancers are fine, we use them a little bit now. They can equip anything and everything, specifically ribbons. That's going to come in handy for the last leg of the run where we want the resistances. But Freelancers can also have 2 free command slots, so they can have unique command combinations that you cannot have with other job classes because the default command gets on the way. So they are handy for that, but Freelancers are also terrible because they have horrible stats. And if you are using a Freelancer, it means you are not working on AP to learn skills on the other job classes, so we only use this when we are done with everything else we need to learn, and that'll be the end of the game. And that's that for the job classes. Now, normally you would go up here so that you take the teleporter and get a quick, quote-unquote, a quick way out of the Wind Shrine. But actually, taking that cutscene and seeing Boko and rejecting Boko from his tutorial where he explains job classes and how you can combine abilities, that takes longer than walking our way out here through the entrance. So we're going to make our way back through the Wind Shrine because it's faster. But on the way there, we're also going to get an encounter with a couple Black Goblins so that we can learn the Goblin Punch Blue Magic. And we can also boost Elena and Galu from level 1 to level 2. But we also have to be careful about Bart's leveling up to level 3. We want the 3 of these snares to sit on level 2 for the Goblin Punch, a setup we're gonna do later. So let's start with that setup here. You want the Bards as a blue mage and optimize him so that you get the weapon and the armor. Same thing for Faris, same deal for Galuf. And Lena is going to be your thief for this portion. You also want to optimize her for the armor for some extra defense. And level 2, Lena is the only thief out of Bards, Lena and Galuf that can have 8 MP. And this is critical for Carla boss, because that's enough MP to cast a couple of black spells during that boss. And that's going to work as a backup in case things go dicey. So Lena is the only one fit for the role. You also want Lena and Galuf on back rows to filter damage, and that's going to be it for the setup. I actually want to show off how I normally do menuing so that you see how punching menus are in this game, although I am probably going to not get this right because I am super rusty, but I just want to show that off. Let's see if I do this right. See. So the thing about menuing in this game is that there is no lag between the menus, so I like calling my inputs ahead of time during the fade outs, just to have things go faster. And sometimes I get these incorrect inputs where I didn't have enough delay to properly input that through the fade outs, and well, it doesn't really matter. The thing about this game is that the menus feel real nice, like you can practice this and they are not going to be awkward because menuing just is great in this game. Okay, now we're going to make our way back through the Wind Shrine. From now on, I am going to be holding the B button for the entire speedrun because it's just the efficient thing to do as you have a thief on the party. Back on the Winged Raptor room, you want to avoid event tile, so we're going to go all the way to the left and just steer clear from that demonic event tile. And we should be fine here for the step round. And over here, the wall here is deceptive, because in this game the walls have like this tile behind them just to show the depth of the wall, which is a nice visual, but it means that the wall doesn't stop your movement, so you need to be cautious about these instances where there is no wall there and you may overshoot the tile. Although I think you can misstep a couple times in this dungeon and it wouldn't affect the step route too much. Now here's where we're going to do the Black Goblin encounter. So you want to sit on this tile and then take a few extra steps and do a rando here. So this battle can get real dicey if Wind Raptor decided to use Breadwing a couple times, and I can tell that happened because of my HP ranges here. So I'm still going to risk it because there is no point in healing, like everybody's real low. But the Black Goblins can deal anywhere from 4 to 12 damage. They can deal 12 if they use Goblin Punch, or they can deal 12 to characters on front and 4 to characters on back row with physical attacks. So if you are within those ranges, on your first turn of this battle, you may want to have Lena cast a potion so that you are safe, but I'm just going to risk it because everybody's so low, so if I die, then it was meant to be anyway. Now, when you reach Faris' turn, you want to wait for the goblins and see what they do. You want to wait for them to use Goblin Punch on one of the blue mages. If they hit Lena, it doesn't count because she doesn't have the learning skill innately. That only counts for blue mages. If they decide to use Goblin Punch early, then I want the Faris and Bards to be ready to slaughter them. They are in front row for that reason, because they are set up to kill the goblins on a single attack. I'm getting trouble a little bit here. I get in trouble very much here. The probability of getting Goblin Punch late is not that bad. Like you have very reasonable chances of getting Goblin Punch early, but sometimes I just don't feel like using the spell, and that's just RNG for you in this game. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. But yeah, now we have Goblin Punch and a blue mage. That means we can attack and move on. If for some reason the goblin on the back attacks early, then you want to try and kill the goblin up front immediately, so that you can maybe skip his attack and his animations as well. That would be a nice optimization to do here. Also, oh, I was just holding off from the A button because of this. Sometimes you can get the leather shoes as battle spoils. It's not that big of a deal if you accept them, but it's ideal you will drop battle rewards that you don't want because these things may interfere with your optimized menus. So just something to watch out for there. Although for the leather shoes you can just hold hold them out until Karna can sell them there. It's not that big of a deal. They are far more catastrophic on the GBA version. But yeah, that should be everything for the Wind Shrine.